Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And I am left with, I gotta talk about the baddest basketball player from high school, college, and even in the pros today. The number one. And it's not a male NBA player. And it's not a female WNBA player. It is actually the University of Iowa, Caitlin Clark. And the things that she's doing on the basketball court are just unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, she is Pistol Pete Maravich from back in the day that went to LSU and averaged over 40 points without a three-point line or a clock shot. Revolutionized the game. And she reminds me of, in my time, a guy that came out of Gulfport, Mississippi, 1988, number one high school guard in the country, and went on to LSU. His name was Chris Jackson, who has a single season freshman record, averaged over 30.2 points a game back in 1988-89, and subsequently he changed his name to Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, and he set the single season freshman record. Pete Maravich and the likes of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar could not play their freshman year back in those days. So Chris Jackson actually holds the record for the all-time leading scorer for a freshman in college basketball. And then also, just from a historical perspective, Kevin Durant went to the University of Texas for 1 year, and he was 2 to 3 points short of tying and or breaking Chris Jackson's record when he was in college. So you've had some guys that have done some great things that have come out of high school and went into college and just dominated. But I have never seen a woman dominate basketball in college the way that this Caitlin Clark young lady. She is a gift from God and a phenomenon. And she's 22 years old, plays for the University of Iowa Hawkeyes. She's from Des Moines, Iowa, Catholic young lady. She's 6 foot tall, weighs 155 pounds. So she is the perfect human being, female, for basketball. She's not too tall, she's not too short, she's right there. 6 foot, and she is unbelievable. She destroyed Iowa high school basketball in scoring. She was a McDonald's All-American in 2020. She was the Iowa Miss Basketball in 2020, and she was ranked the 4th best high school basketball player in the country, according to ESPN. I don't know who the other 3 players could have been and where they are at today. But this young lady, Caitlin Clark, she gave me no choice but to do a YouTube video on her. I've never seen anything like it, especially from women's college basketball. And I just named a few people, males in college, that I saw that dominated. Allen Iverson was another guy that was 6 foot at Georgetown, but he didn't put the numbers up like Caitlin has done. She has not won a national championship yet. She got close. They lost last year to LSU, Angel Reese. But this woman is unbelievable, man. She also, in high school, in her junior year, she averaged 32.6 points in high school. Her senior year, she averaged 33.4 points as a senior. And in college, listen to these numbers that she's put up since she's been in college. You talk about consistency and what young kids, male and female, should have this kind of admiration for. This young lady is special. Her freshman year, she averaged 26.6 points, 5.9 rebounds, 7.1 assists. Her sophomore year, she averaged 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. Her junior year, 27.8, 7.1 rebounds, 8.6 assists. And this year, she's averaging 32.4 points a game, 7 rebounds, and 7.9 assists. Now, the all-time leading scorer for NCAA Division I women's basketball is Kelsey Plum, who went to the University of Washington. She's 5'8". She was the first pick in 2017 draft. She holds the all-time NCAA Division I scoring with 3,397 points. And then also on March 20th, 2017, Plum broke the NCAA record for points in a single season with 1,080. And I'm bringing that up because Kelsey plays for the Las Vegas Aces, and they've been winning a few championships here lately. And Caitlin Clark is on the verge of breaking both of those records. As we all know, records are made to be broken. And this Caitlin Clark, she's the perfect size. Not too tall, not too short, right there in the middle. She can rebound. She's had multiple triple doubles this year. Let's look at her last 5 games. When Iowa played Maryland, she had 38 points, 6 rebounds, 12 assists. Northwestern, 35 points, 6 rebounds, 10 assists. Against Nebraska, 38 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. Against Ohio State, she had 45 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists. Against Wisconsin, she had 32 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. This young lady is unbelievable. And I think the importance of doing this video is to see how, with the WNBA struggling financially and from a fan base, they are going to have an entity in such as Caitlin Clark that will put many, many butts in the seats as she enters the WNBA this year or next year. And it is going to be very interesting how the WNBA handles marketing Caitlin Clark. If you remember, I'm in my mid-50s, so I grew up during the time of Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. You have to remember there were 2 players, really 3, but 2 that saved the NBA. When the NBA was in complete disarray in the 70s. Drugs, alcohol, no fan base, guys drinking beer before the games and after the games. But Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, when Michigan State played Indiana State, which is the most watched NCAA finals game ever, college basketball game ever, to this day. Michigan State versus Indiana State, Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson. When those 2 entered the NBA, they changed and revolutionized the game and turned it into a real marketing force and saved the NBA from decimation. And then a few years later, who I would correlate Caitlin Clark to was, of course, Michael Jordan. So the good thing about Magic and Bird was that they were able to cooperate together, not by design or by choice, but they were able to build the NBA up together. Black guy, white guy, 6'9", 6'10", Boston Celtics, Lakers, the whole 9 yards. Michael Jordan came in by himself and took it to a whole nother level, and he was a singular entity in that, very similar to Tiger Woods with golf. And I think Caitlin Clark is going to run into the WNBA definitely needs her from a marketing standpoint and as a great athlete and a great person. But she is going to get tons of jealousy and backlash from not only whatever team, her teammates she goes to, and the rest of the league. And that's what Michael Jordan went through as a singular entity. Magic and Bird kind of bounced off of each other, and the temperament between those 2 was very similar and the same, and the arrows being pointed at him. But Michael Jordan elevated it to a whole nother level where he was out there on the fence by himself, taking all the arrows that were being shot at him, whether it was the Detroit Pistons and changing some of the rules in the NBA for more dunking and getting to the basket. They came out with a book called Jordan Rules. Tiger Woods back in '97 revolutionized golf, and you saw all the racism and backlash that he had to sustain. And I think Caitlin Clark is going to go through the same thing. The difference is Golf was already sustainable, but Tiger Woods made it global. The WNBA is on the brink of financial disruption and bankruptcy, and they need a player like Caitlin that is multidimensional, dynamic, highly talented, highly skilled, carries herself in a great way, and she is going to be the perfect person to be the face of the WNBA. Man, I think it does not hurt that she's a white female. When we know all the stereotypes of black athletes dominating the big three sports, basketball, football, and baseball, and for it to be a white female, I think that is going to garner even more butts in the seats, and it is going to push an uptick in the fan base, the television, cable, uh, streaming fan base through the roof. It's no different than what Ali did to revolutionize boxing. Mike Tyson. I think she is falling into this singular entity where all the eyeballs and the microscope is going to be on her. There's going to be tons of pressure for her to take that league and transcend it into another direction. But I think she has the talent, the skill set, the maturity to do exactly that. Caitlin Clark, what she has done in college basketball, reminds me of Chris Jackson between 88 through 90 at LSU. And remember, when Chris Jackson was there, Shaquille O'Neal was there. Shaquille O'Neal was the second best player to Chris Jackson. Unbelievable basketball player. And Caitlin Clark, her release point, the way she can create space, rebounding, passing, her 360-degree cerebral and visual acuity is at a premium. I've never seen, I don't care about all the UConn basketball players, the Sue Birds, all those people that have come out, I've never seen one singular athlete in female college basketball to be as skilled, gifted, and as dominant and not be a big person. She is a guard to do what she has done. And I think it's a blessing that she didn't go to UConn or Tennessee or some of these other big schools. She stayed right at home. And you can tell that she has put in the work since she's been a small kid on developing her skills. And I actually think in watching the college basketball, men's basketball, the NBA, the WNBA, I actually think women's college basketball is the most accurate, skilled. When you talk about skill development, knowing how to play the game, playing the game the right way is not about dunks and all of this other stuff. I think women's college basketball is number one for me. And I think every young kid, especially little boys, instead of all this personalized skill development, learning how to play with four other players and teamwork, they should watch women's college basketball, not even men's college basketball. Everything is so singular, ISO, one-on-one. The NBA is definitely that. They don't play any defense, and that's just a pickup game. I think it's the worst display of skill set and actually playing the game the right way that I've ever seen right now. But women's college basketball is number one. And I think the WNBA is number two for me. I don't understand why they're not garnering a huge fan base. Those young ladies can really play basketball. But Caitlin is going to go into that league, and she's going to have some jealousy. There's going to be some fallback. I think with her teammates to a certain degree, because the lens will be on her. I think, and definitely with some of the other players that have been carrying the league for years, and the Asia Wilsons, the Breanna Stewarts, the Alyssa Thomases, the Narisa Collier, that's from St. Louis, Missouri, that went to UConn, plays for the Minnesota Lynx. Alyssa Thomas plays for the Connecticut Sun, and Asia Wilson plays for the Las Vegas Aces. Breanna Stewart plays for the New York Liberty. They've been in the league for a while carrying it. But I think there's going to be a little bit of pushback with Caitlin. I think that's another thing that's the beauty of women's college basketball, that they play 4 years. You can garner a fan base that you bring into the WNBA. Versus in college basketball, they had them going out of high school, then doing 1 year in college, and then going to the pros. And then half of the fan base don't even know who they are. The reason why Michael Jordan and Magic and Bird were able to have a huge fan base coming out of colleges because they stayed for 2, 3, 4 years. Michael stayed 3, Larry Bird stayed all 4. Uh, you're gonna have people in Iowa, the state of Iowa, that are going to watch the WNBA because of Caitlin Clark. She's going to bring a Midwestern fan base of women and men and young kids that are going to watch the WNBA that haven't been watching it. She is a phenomenon. I'm telling you, and the WNBA needs to get behind her. The other piece to where I think older NBA players are going to have a problem with her fame coming into the league is she's already going to have plenty of money with NILs, which, of course, the Breonna Stewarts, the Asia Wilsons, they didn't have it when they were in college. So she's already going to have a fan base. She's already going to have some money. The endorsements are going to be through the roof for Caitlin off the court. And she's going to put butts in the seats in the WNBA. The other piece that is very important, I think if she goes into the WNBA and is able to play and score and do the things she's doing in college, she's going to force the WNBA to increase the salaries because they're going to start selling out. She is going to sell out everywhere she is the way she is doing it in college. I watch Caitlin Clark every Saturday. Every Saturday. I don't even watch the Lakers or some of these Golden State, hardly at all. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon, and I think the American public needs to support women's basketball and women's sports, and she is an aberration, like Tiger Woods was with golf. She's going to galvanize all races, creeds, colors, age groups. Very similar to Tiger Woods, very similar to Michael Jordan. She's going to have a fervor behind her like a Mike Tyson, a Muhammad Ali, and people wanting to see her play. She is a phenomenal basketball player. And I hope, but on the negative side, as I said, I think the older WNBA players are going to have a problem with her for a little while. I think her teammates will. Because of the lens that will be on her. I think her closest association to going into the WNBA is going to kind of be like Tiger Woods when he entered the PGA and decided to go pro. So it's going to be important that the WNBA markets her correctly, gives her the support system, because there's going to be a lot of arrows shooting at her. And human beings, just by our nature, we are jealous creatures. And she is going to take that lens away from some of the Breonna Stewarts and the Asia Wilsons and the Kelsey Plums. And if she plays well, and does anything like she's doing in college, averaging 20, 25 points a game and shooting threes like Steph Curry, it is going to be electric and exciting. So yeah, this young lady reminds me of Pistol Pete way back in the day, Steph Curry today, and Chris Jackson at LSU back in 88 through 90, whose name is Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. I had to do a video on Caitlin Clark. She is a phenomenon. She is the best women's basketball player, period, even over the WNBA young ladies. The lady is a phenomenon. So let's continue to support Caitlin Clark and the rest of the young ladies in college basketball and support the WNBA. There is definitely a vestige for women's professional sports. We need to support them. And thank you for listening to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth in a righteous, positive, God-fearing way. See you next time.